The big news of the week, of course, is the government shutdown. So Bill Maher and the panel is going to sit down and discuss this. However, they're going to make a very interesting admission, although inadvertently, about one of the Democrats' sacred cows. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Let's get to the domestic news. Okay, this is, if you went to the Department of Agriculture's website today, it said, Trump, you got to say, politically, no one can touch him. Due to the radical left Democratic shutdown. Okay, right away, right off the bat, like, we've had so many shutdowns, nobody ever did that, but that's how he plays the game. So if you're not following this, what's going on here is that during COVID, they expanded the Obamacare credits so that people could get health care. I've never understood, by the way, the bizarre Republican obsession with taking health care away from people. Yeah. I mean, first of all, Mitt Romney did it in Massachusetts, and it was a Republican idea. Yeah. Like, people are getting free health care in the emergency room. Let's stop that. No freeloaders. We're Republicans. I just don't get it. Why they have, how many times did they try to kill Obamacare? Then they did get rid of the mandate. It still survived. But this is the only leverage Democrats have. Democrats want to restore this and some of the Medicaid cuts. This is about health care. Democrats think this is the one issue we have, and this is the one leverage we have, which is to shut down the government, because after all, they don't have any other power. And the question I'm asking is, who's going to win this? Can they, because people will lose that. Kaiser predicts premium payments in 26 will more than double if the ACA enhanced premium tax credits expire. Can the pain that people feel be connected to the Trump administration? This has been the hard thing for Democrats always. Can you connect the pain to the people providing it?
Look, I'm going to maybe piss off some of my Democratic friends, but I think you can always trust our party to do the wrong thing at the wrong time for the right reason, okay? So here's the problem. Right now, if the Democrats don't do anything and they pass this clean resolution, which they don't want to do, if they did it, guess what would happen this month? Premiums would start going through the roof this month. By the time you get to the end of November, you would have Americans marching in the streets saying, I can't pay 150% more for my insurance premiums. What the heck is going on? Instead, we decided to not let that happen and shut the entire government down. So now people are going to be mad about the post office and 100 other things that Republicans can then blame on us. So I'm like, I get it. The base is upset. The base wants us to do something. Please do something, do anything. But the something probably shouldn't be throwing a bunch of people out of work in the federal government and crushing America's government's ability to function right before the pain was about to start. So that's my concern.
To your point, I mean, I look at the list of, apparently I didn't see this, but I'm just going by what the list of government offices, departments that are affecting this the most. Yeah. So I assume the Trump administration is the one who decides when they cut off money in the government, because we have no more money. October 1st was the fiscal new year. I always throw a rager. And now there's no more money, but they have some, but they keep some people working. Well, like EPA, they closed down like 89% of the
Surprise.
EPA. So they're just going to close down the shit they wanted to close down anyway. And the economy, we were going to get very, very bad job numbers today. And of course, Donald Trump, AKA the luckiest man in the world. Now we won't have those numbers at all. Right. But if the economy goes in the shitter, he's going to say, well, the Democrats closed down the government. That's what did it. It was all going fine until then.
I like the fact that we have this leverage, and I just want to use it at the right time.
Right.
Give it till, I would have said, and the weird thing is, I talked to Chuck Schumer about this like 3 months ago, and he was kicking me in the butt because I had been tough on him for not allowing the government to shut down. And he convinced me that shutting the government down is stupid. Then I call on TV and he says, we're now shutting the government down. So hold on a second, guys.
He once convinced me to give him $1 million and that went down the drain.
Exactly. So look, my view is the Republicans were about to let a bunch of Americans, 15 million Americans, step on a rake called their insurance premiums go up. So look,
dollars and that went down the drain.
Exactly. So look, my view is the Republicans were about to let a bunch of Americans, 15 million Americans, step on a rake called their insurance premiums going through the roof. That's when you shut the government down. But you do it before, and now it's just going to be one more, piece of garbage, coming at the American people. I just think the timing's not that great, but look, maybe it'll work.
Okay, now, if you listen closely to that segment, both Van Jones and Bill Maher are both admitting something they probably didn't mean to say. And we'll get back to that in 1 second. But first, let's talk about Chuck Schumer, because as Van Jones points out, yes, just a few months ago, Chuck Schumer was out there making the case that we can't shut down the government because that would give Donald Trump more power. And guess what? Donald Trump now has that power. And what's he doing? Shutting down the agencies he doesn't like, right? So there you go. But now fast forward a couple of months, and now Chuck Schumer is saying we have to shut the government down to stop Donald Trump. And of course, you could speculate as to the reasons why, i.e. AOC gunning for his seat in New York, all right? But regardless, that's what he's doing now. It's a complete 180 from his previous stances, which of course just further goes to reveal the hypocrisy of the Democrats in this entire scenario. Now, let's get back to what both Van Jones and Bill Maher basically admitted. It's the fact that Obamacare does not work. Okay, it's too expensive. Everyone's premiums are set to go up 100, 200, 300% if, of course, the government doesn't continue to subsidize all of this like we did back in 2020 with the COVID shutdowns. Okay, so this is an admission that it just doesn't work for the American people. But, of course, the shutdown being what it is, this is what the Democrats actually want. They want universal health care. They want single-payer systems. They want government-run health care for every single man, woman, and child in America. And we know that this simply will not work because, as they're pointing out, premiums are going to skyrocket. It's going to cost way too much money. But of course, what does Bill Maher say? Oh, what about Massachusetts, right? After all, Mitt Romney enacted basically universal health care there. Well, let's go ahead and check in on Massachusetts, right? Massachusetts has one of the highest overall healthcare costs per person in the country, with recent figures placing it at over $10,000 per person. Rising expenditures. Healthcare expenditures in the state have been growing at a rate that outpaces wage growth and the national average, with significant increases noted between 2021 and 2022. So guess what? It's not necessarily working in Massachusetts either. Can you give every single man, woman, and child health care? Yes, you can, at a huge expense, but then you also get a lessening return on investment. Just go ahead and look at Canada, right, where you have months and months and months of waiting lists for people to get surgeries, up to years. Okay, it simply doesn't work. And guess what Canada had to do? They had to reenact basically a private healthcare system, which of course only goes to the wealthy. So all the plebs are out there stuck on the government system where they're waiting in lines to get their healthcare, and all the rich are still getting exactly what they need or flying into America to receive it. But of course, the problem is, as soon as America goes the way of the rest of the world, then what happens to all of that innovation? What happens to the ability to actually go out and get a surgery within a month or a couple of weeks, right? That goes away because that's the end result of all of these other countries with their nationalized healthcare systems. But Van Jones actually brings up a very good point. He's surprised the Democrats just didn't wait a couple of weeks so they could have this battle over one specific issue, and instead, of course, have chosen to shut down the government, which opens them up to blame on a myriad of issues, which honestly to me is kind of surprising because growing up in the 90s, the Democrats were slick. They were on point. They were in lockstep. Okay, but now you have a fractured party, all because of the left wing. They are taking over and pushing the old guard out or forcing them to go more and more left. And guess what? They're actually not as slick as they used to be. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we just sit back on our laurels and let them regroup, because right now they're weak. In the future, that could change. But I'm just saying that, yes, they have been making big mistakes, and I've been loving every minute of it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.